All right, test 1 2 3. Hope you guys are all having a great day here. Loki wants to say hello. Loki. All right. Hope you guys are all having a good day. Let me just double check to make sure the stream's actually started, and it looks like we are good to go. All right. It literally takes maybe about like 15 to 20 seconds before I really know that my stream is going. But hey, everybody, hope you guys are all having a great Tuesday. It's been a pretty decent day for me. I know the market's not looking too good right now, but we'll be talking about that after our failed breakout attempt yesterday, which just crushed us. So here's Loki. He's wagging his tail and looking at it. Up. Yeah, there you go. Come here. Yes, you good boy. Come here. He's very oh, you guys can barely see him. Okay. Come here. Yeah, good boy. All right. Hope you guys are all having a good day. We're going to be talking about a few things here beyond just the technical analysis. I know there's some Fed stuff going on. Maybe we'll talk about that if you guys want to know more. On top of that, we'll be looking at a few cryptocurrencies that I'm buying during this time. Even though we have had this pump, I am still dollar cost averaging. And we're just going to be looking at some of them because not all altcoins have been like booming up to where Bitcoin is kind of at relative to where it was over the past few weeks. I know that's kind of a word salad, but I think you guys get what I'm talking about. And then on top of that, we're going to be looking at an article here about the Etherium spot ETF and when that could be announced. I'm pretty excited to see when all that's going to be coming out, even though it might be a hot minute, but I think we're in a good spot. Okie dokie. Hey, Nicholas, happy to see you back, man. Let me go over here very quick, and there we go. All right, so taking a look here at Bitcoin today, guys, it's definitely been interesting to watch the last 24 hours because we had just broken out above both the 20-day moving average and the 50, and we were hoping to break out above this level of resistance, kind of around 43,578, maybe a penny above that. But we managed to do so, but we kind of got smacked down right afterwards, which really sucked. Let me go over here to the 50-minute chart, because this is when we were streaming yesterday, I believe, 1845. I think that was about when we were talking last night. It had to be somewhere around here. But anyway, we were unable to actually hold the level. We kept on getting knocked down, to the point where there was like another wall right up here, kind of around 43,800. The exact wall seems to be, if I can find the pinpoint here, just skip it. There you go. Looked to be around $43,882. It is what it is, but we got smacked down a third time, and we just weren't able to kind of hold up, you know. If you keep on banging into the wall, nothing's happening. Basically, you get smacked back a little bit. And that's what we're seeing right now. Bitcoin coming down just a tad. It's down 0.5%. Nothing crazy. The issue with what could happen today, basically, is we've already broken back down below the 200 moving average on that 4-hour chart. Now we may start breaking down below the 21 here. Again, this isn't some type of catastrophic breakdown, but you could see Bitcoin coming back down to around like $42,000, maybe a little bit less than that. That's where I think people are going to be a little bit more concerned. I would just say, concerned, not really freaking out, because we had a, big crashing event or long-term drop event here, whatever you want to call it. We managed to have a pretty big move up, and now we're starting to show some signs of weakness here, and we really haven't had too much weakness here over the past, few days at least. So now we're wondering if we start breaking down below this 20 moving average on the 4-hour chart, are we going to come back down? And, we could look at the 50 moving average on the 4-hour chart, but really, are we going to have an issue where possibly we wick all the way back down here to the 20-day moving average? That would bring us back down below 42,000, kind of what we were just talking about. That might be an opportunity to buy if you guys did want to find a way to get back into the market. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still kind of doing a little bit of day trading, but I'm not overly enthusiastic about these market conditions. It just hasn't been working out for me as far as, where I like to buy and where I like to sell. It's been a little bit too volatile for that. So I'm basically just waiting to see how far Bitcoin wants to come back down today, and if Bitcoin will have any nastier side effects over the next 48 hours. Next 24 hours seems like we're going down. Seems like it's going to be down a little bit, nothing too crazy. Tomorrow, tomorrow's price action is going to be a little bit different. That's where we're going to really have to decide if we're going to continue moving down for a longer consolidation moment, or if we're actually going to pop up and go a little bit higher here, trying to again break above like, $44,000 or so. Simple move here. I could probably even do this in the 1-hour chart, perhaps. Let me see if I could do this from the 1-hour chart. There we go. All right. You see that? That's kind of the concern at this moment in time. If we do break down around $42,000, we are going to be breaking down below this. But you may say that, hey, unless we close down below it on the daily candle, which won't be happening until, of course, like, 22 hours, 23 hours from now, it's not going to really be a confirmation. But any metric that you guys are looking at, it definitely looks bearish over the next couple hours. Just be careful of that. We're trying to desperately hold on right here, and we might even have a short-term pop, but it feels like we just want to dump a little bit, come back down to the mid 42,000s, and then from there we can kind of reevaluate what's going on here. Now, Bitcoin may look a little bit bearish just because we weren't able to break out and hold above that level of resistance. I know the level of resistance should be kind of right around here. I'll keep that there just for now so we can kind of keep track of that specific number where we want to close above. However, let's go over here to the daily chart. In the scheme of things, in fact, let me actually not do that. Let me go over here to array. In the scheme of things, we're still looking okay. I would still say the same thing for Ethereum. We're still above the level of resistance. Excuse me, guys, talking too much. I'm going to start burping on myself, but excuse me. Why can't I grab this? Arrow, maybe? Is it locked? Oh, it is locked. That's why. Okay. Let me relock that because I probably had it there, so I would stop moving it around. Ethereum still above that level of support here, so we're not looking at a very bad day here. Weird enough, Ethereum is probably going to have a death cross here over the next few days. I wonder if that's going to have any effect because Bitcoin's found a way to kind of fend off its own death cross here. Everything was looking bearish. We still find a way to bounce off. Let's see what kind of happens next. But again, we're still above that level of support. If you guys want to get into a danger mode with Ethereum, we're going to have to start breaking down below 2100 basically, and then that's when you guys get a little bit more concerned. I do want to go back here for a lot of these altcoins because again, Ethereum looks fine. It's fine. Bitcoin looks fine right now. Even if we're showing some weakness right now, we still look okay. Altcoins around, they're kind of in a little bit of a different situation. Altcoins, I'm still much more happy about loading up on these when it comes to, dollar cost averaging. More than an Ethereum, more than a Bitcoin at this point. Dogecoin, still a lot lower, just like ADA. AMP is actually doing okay. Lower market cap coin. Weekly charts are about to go. I'm hoping that this can have a big move without Bitcoin, but it's going to be hard, to be frank. Ape token, still down based off of where it was a few weeks ago. Arbitrum, still doing fine. Not as bad as a few other tokens out there. AXS, this one looks like it wants to flush, which is kind of confusing me. I'm hoping that we can actually hold and then have a larger breakout, something more of a U type of pattern, maybe a cup and handle or something similar. Because right now, the way this is kind of looking, it kind of scares me that we're going to come all the way back down here to like the $6.50 range. Bitcoin Cash, holding the 20 as always. If it does break down below this level, that's when you guys are going to be concerned. It's been below it many times, but it has yet to break down and close down below that level, so that's been pretty good for it. A lot of other tokens out there, not at the high, still levels that you guys want to be accumulating at. Some tokens, had different levels of when it popped off. Some were very early, some were a little bit later. Regardless, I'm buying a lot of tokens up when it comes to dollar cost averaging. I thought I might be adding more to my dollar cost averages after Bitcoin kind of had that surprise turnaround, which was a surprise to me, maybe not to some of you guys. However, I'm still doing light powder dollar cost averaging. If for whatever reason we do have a bad day today or the next few weeks somehow turn bad for whatever reason, then I'll probably get a little bit more aggressive. But I still been using the same tokens that I've been looking at for a while. So there's a few portfolios that I have here, or not portfolios, I would say a watch list. We have the coins that haven't popped yet. This one's kind of been around for a while. A lot of these tokens have popped by now. I loaded up on maybe half of these, so a lot of these I do not own. I'm basically watching some of these. I think I was able to buy some Hello Labs, some Step Finance. I think I bought a little bit of Sidious, but looking back the last 90 days, I didn't buy enough. I wasn't able to buy much OKB. I still have some BitGet token, but I didn't really buy much else. Kava, I think I own a small amount, like $50. It might be up, it might be down. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Audio, I'm not entirely sure if I got that one, I think. And then the SafePal, I know I bought some recently. So now I've been able to buy a couple of these, but some of them just not all too much. The ones that I have been looking at are the buy during the dump. So these are the ones that I was talking about buying back when this dump was happening over here. That was maybe about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And so far, some of these over the last 7 days, they have been performing pretty well. Things like Internet Computer, Solana, RLC, ELF, Fetch AI, GRT, WLD, Ajax, ONT, and FA. The ones that have not performed well have been the Fetch AI, I would say PHA, and the ELF network. But, RLC has been a good one. Solana's been a good one. Internet Computer's been a decent one. GRT's been fine. Wild has been fine. And Ajax has been fine. So I'm probably going to continue to buy some of those. But still, trying to figure out when I can buy more altcoins here. And there you can see that Bitcoin just made a new low, relative low. You see a little bit of liquidity trap going on right there. And they're trying to pop it up a little bit. But still, we're making lower lows here. Not a crash type of event. But you are going to see some people probably opening some shorts right about now, just because it looks like we probably want to retouch that 20-day moving average here. All right, back over to the 15. I can open up some of these oscillators here as well. Let's polish this back a little bit here. And then one last thing. Over the last week, we've had a lot of coins doing perfectly fine. Some more than others, like Sue's still going up quite a bit. Pendle's still going up quite a bit. Manta's still going up quite a bit. We're still seeing some moves. There are still a few, I wouldn't say a lot of tokens, just a few that haven't been doing too well. XRP has been the surprising one, I think, out of all these ones that haven't been doing well. And so I just wanted to poke about this for a second, because I don't know what's going on with XRP. If anybody has any news about XRP, please let me know. I just have not been having the time to look over it. We talked about the breakdown happening a while ago, but even if XRP breaks down, if Bitcoin finds a way to rally, usually XRP finds a way to rally as well. So I'm wondering what exactly happened with XRP as far as, why they are continuing going down, because zoom out a little bit, they're in a decent spot. They're not the lows of like 30 cents or anything like that, but that breakdown, that really starts to take them back down to maybe 45 cents, maybe even as far as down as 40 cents. So that could be a concern, especially because Bitcoin, I know Bitcoin's going down today, but over the last week, Bitcoin's had a really good rebound, and that should be the story of XRP as well. It hasn't had that chance to break out, because if it had a chance to break out, then then we're looking at $1 over the next couple months and stuff like that. Much more exciting. The fact that we're breaking down is kind of miserable when we're talking about XRP. Definitely not what you want to see here at all. All right, hey Hiram, happy to see you back, my man. Let me know if you have any questions. There's a fib level at 43,415. 43,415. See, it looks like we've already broken down below that, unfortunately. As far as trying to, maybe on the weekly chart, I'm not in touch with what fibs you're using, but maybe it's a little bit of resistance that we're going to be looking at as well. XDC will kill Ethereum. XDC is the real Ethereum killer. There was a whole bunch of Ethereum killers, and I think a lot of them have been making strong cases as to why they might be able to overtake Ethereum over the next 10 to 20 years. I think the number one thing is just the cost for Ethereum. I think a lot of people like the cheapness of things like Solana and other things out there. It all comes down to money at the end of the day. What's going to be the cheapest, what's going to be the most efficient. If you find something that's better, there is a good chance that Wall Street will invest in it over time. Not now, but over time. So if you're getting in before Wall Street's investing in it, you got yourself a good, a good price. FOMC tomorrow, do you think they'll have any effect on crypto? I think it will, just a tad, but honestly, when I look at it, he's been so dovish lately. I don't know. He's been like this. How do I even describe it? He's been fake hawkish. So, and we've kind of talked about this in the past. Whenever you see Jerome Powell go up there, he's pretty much saying, we're going to be firm on tackling inflation, firm. But then you're like, I'm not going to really do much about it. All I'm going to do is just not change rates all too much. That's basically what he's been up to. I'll be interested to see what he says, but I don't think it's going to have a huge impact. There's a lot of news happening today. Well, excuse me, my voice is even cracking now. But it's kind of around like Elon Musk right now. Elon Musk knows how to make noise about himself, and I don't even think it's his fault. It's what happened in Delaware today. And then, let me just pull up CNBC. I know this probably, yeah, okay. Let me refresh just to make sure. Okay, so we got futures down a little bit, not bad, just down a little bit here. It's really what happened with the earnings. So the big news for today, you could say, is Elon Musk $56 billion Tesla compensation voided by judge, shares slide. That's not good. I don't know why Delaware is getting in the middle between a company paying its CEO. That's kind of just weird on my end. But again, I don't know everything. We'll see what happens. Okay. Wall Street punishes Alphabet and Microsoft despite earnings beats after stocks hit record. That's not good. I want them to be going up. I thought we were going to have a good earnings season, and apparently we're not having a great earnings season right now. So earnings are up, money's up. What's going on? That's basically what I have to figure out, and that's why I'm probably just going to use like an AI to go find out what happened during the earnings call and what was bad, what was good about it, because I really want to know. And then even here, now this is not NVIDIA, but this is AMD. AMD shares fall as first quarter forecast comes in light. That's not too good. I don't know what's going on with AMD. So if all of a sudden we're having some like bad news come out for earnings, that's a little bit confusing. The one thing that I thought may have shown weakness, if any of those companies, was going to be Google, just because they have the YouTube component, advertising component. Advertising's a big thing for YouTube and Google, as you guys might imagine. But let me go over here to AMD, tapping right on that Fibonacci line right there. But you can see the volatility that happened. This is a 1 minute chart. You can see the volatility that happened right as the earnings were announced. Crash. I mean, this isn't really a crash. It's just like, moved down, came back up, and then gradually climbed back down here. And now it's waiting to probably continue to break down tomorrow, which is not a good sign. So you might actually see the market take a little bit of a breather tomorrow. Again, it's not the end of the world here. We were just getting bounced off of a Fibonacci level. Right now, after hours, we are testing out this one, which means we may see AMD come back all the way down to 148 or so over the next week or so. And that could be concerning because basically we're going from like 172 to 150. Ouch. And right now we're at 172 and the current price after hours is 160. So, I wouldn't call that the craziest move down. It's basically what happens if we continue to break down and hit that next level of support. That's where you can see the market take a little bit of a breather. A breather is not going to be terrible. It's fine. What that does basically over the next few days, though, is it causes another death cross here between the 20 and the 50 sometime at the end of February, not sometime now. And usually those give us a little bit of a cool down period before eventually making another move up. Even if a lot of stocks have these cool down periods, the economic data would still suggest that we're probably going to keep roaring and going higher and higher and higher. There's too much money being spent by corporations. I know there's more layoffs coming out. I made a video talking about that. You guys can watch it if you guys want to. But, things are still looking okay. When we have those red alarm bells, a lot of these stocks will not fall so gracefully. They'll fall pretty dramatically like we saw back over here during 2022, where you saw AMD come down, 46% in a matter of like 2-3 months. Overall, though, AMD throughout this process came down like 66%, and they say stocks are not like crypto, But what do you call it? At this point, we're going to be looking for a little bit of a reversal here after that. We'll see if the data changes or whatever. Powell is probably not going to help things tomorrow, but I don't think he's going to necessarily hurt them either. So we'll wait and see. I mean, you go over here to the dollar index. Not much is changing. The daily, we're still consolidating. We had an opportunity to break out here. We kind of died back down. Right now, we're still consolidating. We've been having these really flat episodes and then pop. Maybe we'll pop. Maybe. I think a lot of people are basically waiting to see what Biden does with Iran. Is he going to bomb Iran? Is he going to bomb one of their little puppet militias? Whatever. They're pretty much waiting to see how serious he is about that. There's some budget stuff happening in the House. I don't think that matters, to be honest. I think everybody's factored in America's not going to be spending less money. Regardless if Republicans control the House, they haven't had the willpower to actually go against that spend money. It's too powerful of a force because that money pretty much, it goes back to them through political donations and things of that nature. So right now, we're at a level of resistance with the dollar index. We're waiting for it to pop a little bit. If you look at today's chart, we're moving up a little bit, but we've been here plenty of times before. It's nothing crazy, nothing new. There's a few other things that you guys might look at, like oil, but oil's been a little bit calm too. Now, it has moved up, but since then we've been pretty calm, kind of playing around the 200 daily moving average. Look at the weekly chart. It's fine. It's not nothing terrible. We're waiting to see if it continues to go up higher and higher and higher. if oil does start going back up here towards levels of like the 80s, then you guys might want to hop in some oil plays for some day trades and some swing trades. There's going to be a lot more volatility in those. But I mean, let me go over here to some oil plays. Oil overall has been something of a more of a mixed bag. PXD, this is something I've owned for quite a long time, like COVID times when everything was crashing and burning. You gotta love oil. But this is a high dividend play. I'm hoping this will continue to move up. It already had a breakout. It didn't do nothing because oil wasn't doing anything. So, be careful about how you think of this in a few different ways. But things like Schlumberger, still doing okay. They're at kind of a level of support. We'll see if they can make a turnaround. That turnaround, if you ask me, for a lot of these stocks, oil stocks, is going to be if oil starts breaking above $80 again. Things are going to start roaring. Gas prices are going to start rising. Inflation with energy is probably going to go up a tad, but not too much, but enough to maybe tip the scales. You have things like Exxon. It broke down below. It broke down below the channel, but what happened? It just soared back up. Your basic technicals aren't really working as much as they used to here, which really annoys me. We were holding on barely. All of a sudden we break down. It's a trap. Boom, look at that, going straight back up here into the order block. From there, you might even see it going higher. So, if everybody feels like it's about to boom, you're going to see a lot of commodities start to make some larger moves too. Anything else? I mean, this is cigarettes. This is something for a longer term play. OXY, that could be something there. Look how stagnant that's been going sideways all the way since about April of 2022. And then, well, I know that drop in COVID messes it up, but April of 2022, oil's gone down. It hasn't gone down. So people are really still believing that oil is going to get much more expensive. I know this Middle East stuff is causing some chaos within the markets because everybody's just kind of afraid of what could happen. But the war hasn't gotten too far out of hand. I don't believe so. That's kind of more of a personal opinion. I see what's going on between Gaza, Israel. It seems to be kind of contained in there. Maybe a few rockets from Lebanon. Hezbollah, is that what they're called over there? And then the Houthis kind of attacking shipping lanes. I think the Houthis attacking shipping lanes is much more impactful to the U.S. economy than what's going on literally between Gaza and Israel. After that, I don't know. I feel like everybody's kind of forgotten about the Ukraine war. Israel's kind of where all the action's at these days as far as like, if you're a news organization, what are you trying to cover? You're covering Israel, Gaza. You're not really covering Ukraine. Ukraine's been kind of left out of all the news coverage. And even if they're talking about the bill, I think they're talking about border crossings more than Ukraine, I would still say too, when it comes to that bill. So a lot of stuff going on. Today's not looking great for Bitcoin, but it doesn't mean we can't find some opportunities here to kind of buy some low altcoins. Let's see. Hey, GT. Hey, Gus. I'm a bag holding Doge for 2 years now. I'm stuck at 21 DC at 20K invested down over 50%. I'm sick of waiting and Doge seems to go nowhere. You still getting 20 cents this year? Yeah, easily, but it's going to be basically whenever the altcoin season, Bitcoin starts rallying up. And I've been telling people this for a while. If you don't like the way, this is for any token, if you don't like the way it's been going and you've been kind of holding it for a while, I've been hearing this more and more about XRP, but I think it really applies the same to Dogecoin. If you don't like the results you've been seeing for it, you can take a loss, put that on your taxes, double check with an accountant or a tax person before you do this. And then you could literally just move that loss, but it's still worth something, right? It's still worth something. You could move that money over to another token that you have, you enjoy a lot more, something that you kind of are more passionate about. You can chalk it up to a bad investment and just move on. You don't have to be stuck in it if you don't want to. Now, there are like all these types of consequences and stuff like that, but it's a loss, so it's not like you're going to be taxed on the loss and other way around. You can use it as tax deductible. Again, consult a professional. But before you do that, start looking at tokens, or maybe you already have a list of tokens you want to invest more in dollar cost averaging. You can always do that. As far as Dogecoin is going on and XRP, I still have quite a bit of both of them. I'm still holding on to them quite a bit. I'm not selling them, but I have other capital ready to be deployed. If you want to say, hey, they're not going my way, and you just want to make sure you have money in other places that you think could do better. Because at this point, if you're looking at Dogecoin, it'll probably reach $1 during this cycle. And that could be a good return. But there are tons of other tokens, of course, that could give you much higher returns just because of how market caps work and how those smaller market caps can really soar. A good example of this might be if I just pulled up Dogecoin and let's go monthly chart. If we go to $1, that's basically Dogecoin having an 1,000% return. All right. Now, in your case, if you have an average of around 20 cents, that's about a return of about 400%. A little bit different, right? So 400%, keep that in your head. If you go over here towards something like a spell token, this isn't something I'm telling you to buy, but if spell token goes back up to all-time highs and you just buy into it today, then you're looking at about a 5,000% increase. If you were to buy sheep token and it goes back up to all-time highs, you bought it today, that's about a 900% increase over the 400% increase. So kind of depends on how you want to see it. You are still taking that loss though, so just make sure when you calculate everything, it's still taking the loss, but at least the loss kind of gets helped up by taxes and things like that. Again, consult a professional, yada yada yada. There are tons of other small market cap tokens that you can look at. You could even try to go into Litecoin if you wanted to. Not what I'd recommend, but you could. But yeah, I would say there's a good chance it hits 20 cents this year. But it's really not going to be. We've seen it have big boosts, kind of like with news and stuff like that. At this point, it's going to be something more of a larger market event. It's not going to be necessarily Dogecoin-driven news. We've seen how good those pumps can be. They can be decent, but they're not going to be pumping up billions of dollars of fresh market cap into Dogecoin in a matter of minutes like they were back in 2021. Back over here to the 15. There we go. And hey, Walter Studios, happy to see you back. I'm doing pretty well. I got a lot of sleep last night, which was very good. Yesterday, I was just tired, miserable, grumpy. Now I'm feeling a little bit better. Even got myself a cigar to smoke. I think I'm gonna smoke this. Oh shit, I bent this one, it looks like, so maybe I won't smoke it. It's a little broken, but I can probably still smoke it now with you guys, actually. I'll get another cigar later on. It's just a Rocky Patel Lancero. It's nothing special. But I'm trying to get more rest now because I haven't been sleeping well. And so now that I'm getting a little bit more rest, this is the first day of good rest. We'll see. I'm in much better mood. But yeah, overall things are working out pretty well. I haven't been trading as much, obviously, because of all this nonsense of me thinking we were probably going to go down more over the next few weeks, and all of a sudden we this little reversal. But I would say overall things are pretty good. I need to take Loki out a little bit more, though. He's sleeping right now, or he's trying to sleep. He heard me say his name, so he's just like peeking out at the side of his eye. Hey, Ethereum Classic or ETC. Haven't been able to get an answer from any traders on adding margin to reduce liquidation price when you are down in a trade. Reducing margin as it comes back up. Advantages and disadvantages. Thank you. All right, so I've meddled in this, but I'm just going to tell you flat out, I'm like no expert when it comes to this type of stuff. But usually I'm a little bit of a mad scientist when I find a new exchange. I like to test out everything, see how everything works. And, it's interesting how you can adjust your leverage and increase your leverage, when you need to. I don't personally like doing it, but to go to your question, let me kind of just reread it back in my head. Because you said something specifically after like a little bit of explanation. So reducing margin as it comes back up, advantages and disadvantages. To me, it almost feels like a way of scaling out in part. Typically, when I'm like to make a trade, I will just stick with the leverage that's I got into. If I make a mistake, I literally just close the trade. I take the loss plus whatever fees are involved in that loss, and I just kind of like reopen the trade because I know the trade will do fine. If I'm opening it usually. There's no disadvantages as far as what the exchange will do. You're not going to get any trouble from it. There's no bad things. You're paying your fees a little bit of a different way, but it's not like it's a bad thing. You're still paying fees for trading, right? Advantages. It may be an easier way of scaling out sometimes. but I don't really see many advantages of it. That's why I just know I'm gonna keep my. I would naturally just scale out. You know, perhaps if you're on a smaller exchange and your exchange has something of a liquidity issue or something where you can't sell off all of some small tokens with a 20x leverage or something, maybe sometimes that might be an easy way to get around it, perhaps. But I don't really see much advantage to it as far as what I've tested. And again, my testing has not been extensive. I don't really see much of a reason to go down that road. It might be worth it if you wanted to try. See, I don't think paper trading it works the same way as live trading when it comes to testing this out. I would try to take $100 on an account, open up 10 trades, and do a whole bunch of different tests on it yourself and see if there was any advantage into like paying less fees, basically, versus, you know, like a $100 trade or something like that. But I don't really see many advantages. There's no disadvantage as far as I can tell that's gonna like really worry you. It just doesn't make much sense to actually try to go down that path. Because it's still going to affect your entire portfolio as you close certain parts of the position, right? It's not like the exchange is giving you money or taking extra money away from you. It's just the point, it's just the fact that you're adjusting your leverage and is kind of implementing kind of a new trade from there as far as the exchange is concerned. Maybe it'll be a disadvantage for what it does in the future. Maybe when exchanges have to like show you every trade so you can give it to the tax people so they can see everything you're doing, but that's not really required right now. So I don't really see much of a positive for doing it. It's not like it's a bad thing. It's just something I'm not going to be an expert on it at all. And hey, Edwards, I'm doing good. Like I just said a few minutes ago, things are looking okay. Bitcoin's obviously not looking as good as it was just a few hours ago. We got rejected, coming back down a little bit. As far as the channel's going, I put out an hour-long new Smart Money Concepts full tutorial for 2024, the one that kind of goes over every little thing. And that's doing okay so far. I hope it takes off a little bit more down the road. If you guys haven't already and you guys like to use Smart Money Concepts, I'd appreciate it if you guys watch the video or just leave it on your screen or something. I think this week I'm going to be going out a lot more with Loki to the beach and stuff like that. So I'll be out and about, still streaming and stuff like that, but more out and about. And then I'm going to start smoking some more cigars here. I haven't smoked, I don't think, since, I'm acting like it's such a long time. It was just Sunday. But yeah, so probably been doing that. I have a cigar right here I kind of want to light, but I'm just realizing I might have damaged it somehow. I'm not entirely sure because it has a little bit of a bendy part right here, which means it could fall apart while I'm smoking it. Let's see. Yeah, you can probably see the little bit right there. It's very hard to see. Let's try this. Okay. It's a shorter stream for sure. But what I can do, I took off the Lancero and I kind of made it into a little bit of a nub. Take off the paper. Oh, I cracked something else on here too. That's not the best, but that's okay. Might just be a little bit dry, but I think I'll survive. I'll touch up right here. I almost lit my eyelash on fire. That was dangerous. Don't do that. Normally don't smoke cigars this small. I felt the heat. But anyway, yeah. So, doing okay. It just ties up large margin. I can't literally be liquidation by 0 by adding margin. Let's see. Only advantage for lowering it, maybe? Oh, I could see that. Well, so, okay, so if this is, I'll get to everybody's questions here in a second, but if you are your account should never be at risk of getting liquidated in the first place. Like if you go over here to my Fairdesk account, I have not Fauci. I have loads of positions on here. Now, granted, they're all small positions and stuff like that. But you see how I'm losing about 568 bucks right now on this trade. I know it's kind of hard to see because it's on the side of the channel. But I have about $600 and something of available balance here. And even if this goes down to, a crazy level, it's still going to, even if all of my tokens go to zero, I'm not going to liquidate. That's the way you have to trade. So if you have too much, if you don't have enough money in your account, lower that leverage down a lot, do some trading, get that portfolio up, and when you have that cushion, you're going to be fine. Like if I have an account of $20,000, I'm not going to really have more than $2,000 of actual cash invested at any one time. I may have some higher leverages that kind of bump it up to $10,000, $15,000 even, but I'll have a stop loss that's so low that no matter what happens, I'm not going to be risking more than that, like maybe that $2,000 of initial capital in. Realistically, I probably don't want to even risk $1,000 of that of a $20,000 portfolio. So you're going to have to lower that down quite a bit. It gets really risky. Anytime you can let an exchange have an opportunity at liquidating you, I found out more times than not, something weird will happen in the system and it'll just take it. Now, I haven't experienced it necessarily with Fairdesk, but I experienced it a couple of times with BitGet, where I was testing out some concepts. I opened up a brand new account. I just tossed in about a few $100 in there to kind of test it out. And it liquidated like, boom. When it went on the screen, the number didn't act like the chart or the candle bar, whatever price action didn't hit that level. It still liquidated the position. So you always got to be careful about those, because basically, even though the chart might not have it, somewhere in the system somebody might have just unloaded a position, and just for a fraction of a second it hit that level, and in that fraction of a second your position got liquidated. So it's a very hard thing to do. Lower that leverage down if that's what you're working on. Like, just it can be chaotic. It can be very chaotic sometimes. But hopefully I was able to help you at least a little bit more than other influencers out there. I try, but I'm no expert in this realm at all. When's the next cigar? So, okay, as far as cigars, it's been on the back burner mostly because I'm trying to figure out what exactly I want to do. Because normally I've been tired throughout the day, so when I want to stream, what I have to do is I'm going to be moving my, pretty much just maybe move my camera up. I think for now I'm just... Yeah, I'm going to move my entire camera equipment up there. I'm going to bring another light up there to the outside, film myself smoking a cigar and talking about stuff. And then from there, I'll make short videos out of that using Opus Clip, and I'll be talking about that in the cigar video here coming up pretty soon. So I'm thinking of tomorrow making a video. It'll be posted on Thursday. And I'm going to be smoking... Ooh, no, so that first smoke, I won't be, I don't know. So I'm getting some nice Cubans tomorrow, and I kind of want to make a video about that. But I think what I'll do is I will do a review on something. I don't know the exact cigar yet, but I'll do a review on cigar. And then I'll make a video about it. Then I'll have AI cut up that video, make short form content out of it, which will be pretty fun. But yeah, it should be a good time. But yeah, expect it to come out Thursday. I've been too grumpy and not enough sleep over the past few days, so I know when I'm not in a good space to make a video. I'll still come on stream if I'm not in a necessarily great mood, but recording a video and not having a good mood behind it, it kills me on the inside, because I just get more and more angry as the video goes on because I make a mistake, and I'm not the type of guy that makes a mistake and edits it out later. I'm the guy who makes a mistake and starts from the beginning, so the anger piles up more and more and more and more and more until I just throw my hands up and I go on a walk with Loki, and I'm like, fresh air, look at this, feels nice. Then I feel a lot better. Then I go work out for a few minutes. I have my little bike in the garage and a little bit better. Maybe I even smoke a cigar, but I haven't been smoking too many cigars as far as I don't smoke as a form of making me happy. I just smoke because I enjoy it. But you get what I'm saying. Oh, see, I already killed this by not smoking it enough. Trying hard not to damage the, what do you call this? No, I think I might accidentally kill that one. Okay, that's okay. Let me go back over here. Crack this one again. That's fine. Let me get this other plastic off of here. Round 2 may be a little bit easier since it's a little bit longer. All right, that one should be okay. All right, but yeah, be careful with the liquidation. Like, I don't bat an eye about being down $600 on a trade, and that's because I know my leverage is fine. And again, these are all 2x leverage, maybe a few 3x leverages, and like for me, 3x is being kind of risky. You know, it's a little bit more extreme for me for a long-term position, but you know what? I got the capital right now to kind of back it up for now. Let's see if the market goes really bad or something. I'll be like, uh-oh. But for now, it seems to be okay. Hey, Ave. Hope you're doing well, my man. Loki's doing perfectly fine. He was playing a little bit ago. Maybe I'll say hi to him after I'm done smoking the cigar. But now every time I say his name, he just, like, he's sleeping. So he just pokes his eye up and like, hey, what's up? Yeah, I know his name classic. Let's see. Hey, Ken, fundamentals on Redcoin? When's the last time we did that? I feel like this has been along for such a long time. Market cap is not verified. That's okay. It's about 2.43 million, so very small, I'm guessing. Well, let's go over to the website. We'll see. The social currency with over 60,000 users in 50 countries, Red allows you to share, tip, and donate to anyone, anywhere on all major social media platforms. So, let me go over here real fast and Redcoin, Bitcoin, Redcoin, Red. Okay, well, let me go over here very fast and let me just go over to the all. So it had a pretty big move back in the day. Right now it's sitting at what? The hell was that? 1 to 5. This is very confusing. So the market cap at one point was all the way up at $100 million. Right now it's sitting at around 2 million. I don't know what this spike means, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure at all what that spike means. But let's go over here. The Redcoin mobile app will soon be bringing our long-awaited Red ID token, and social tipping functionality to mobile devices around the world. Initially launching as an invite-only app, join our community today and to hopefully become one of our first early beta testers. So they're just starting up. It looks like they have a pretty decent business model behind it. It'll be interesting to see how they make money. But send and receive Redcoin, tip users on social media. It's interesting. When I see stuff like this, and this even goes back to, tons of other tokens out there, it's always, how are you going to be better than the other ones trying to do something similar? So Red token, Redcoin, the social community tip, yeah, okay, we already heard that. 10x faster than Bitcoin, 60-second fast transactions, and 0 transaction fees. So how are they making money? Products, Redbot. One tipping bot to rule them all. Available on 5 social media platforms. Tip with Redbots running Twitch, Reddit, Twitch, Telegram, and Discord. Create a wallet. Get started by registering to create a new Red wallet address not required by Telegram. Check your balance. Withdrawal. Basic tipping commands. So they're going to kind of be in the service sector, it looks like, for, different transactions and things like that. My issue with it is kind of, it was around back over here in 2017. 2021, it wasn't able to make those same highs. I don't know exactly what it's going to be able to do in 2024 to 2025. I think that'd be my number one concern. I bet they must have, they haven't really been doing much in the social media realm if they've been around for this long and they only have 63,000 followers. retweeted something. They retweeted something. I'm looking for a tweet from them, though. Just them. Give me a second. All I'm seeing is retweets. You know, I don't like when I'm seeing something like this, to be frank. You know, this is something they reposted from Redcoin, the social currency. Yes. Replies media. Replies. "21 hours ago." Okay. The Redcoin team is happy to show our very own link tree. This page contains most of the website's links that are important to all of you. The website changes. Yeah, okay. Might as well look it up, but exchanges. They really haven't been able to get on many exchanges for being around this long. That's kind of a red flag to me. The way I'm looking at this, I don't really like it. I think I even bought some of this a long time ago. I don't know if I still have access to it, though, because I think it was on BitGet. But I don't even know where I can find some of the fundamental data about this place. But I mean, they're not open companies, so probably not going to have it. But the way I'm looking at it, how long they've been around, it would be worth maybe a $10, $20 bet because the market cap is so low. Just see what happens with it. But they haven't demonstrated that over the last 5-6 years they've been able to do anything of value with it. 4 years plus 3 years, 7 years. I say 7 years, 6 years, something like that. They haven't proven that they've been worthy of large amounts of capital. So why do you think it'll be any different this time? They can still pump. Don't get me wrong. You can still make a profit. But it doesn't look like they're going to make any crazy all-time highs. That long-term trajectory doesn't seem to be in the cards because it looks like they don't have access to a lot of capital. If they're not on Binance or KuCoin or Kraken or Crypto.com or anything like that, Fairdesk, whatever, is it really going to be good? I don't know. You know, you need all that money to really push things forward. Think of Tau. Tau's been going on a bunch of exchanges, things like that. A lot of other exchanges must have. It might have been on other exchanges, but it looks like they probably took it down. What are my opinions on the common trading view idea post on Dogecoin tab that shows the past cycles of Doge showing price targets anywhere from $2 to $17? I don't know. Like, you can get that high. I always underestimate how far cryptocurrency will go. That way, I have a good idea of when to sell. It always usually goes up above where I'm talking about, but I sell and I'm happy with it. I guess the good example for Dogecoin was, remember, I told everybody I was going to start drastically selling my Dogecoin once we hit 50 cents. It went very much above 50 cents, but you know, I don't want you guys to think that, oh, Michael said we're getting we'll go into $5 or something, so I'm going to not sell anything until we get to $5. I took a lot of flack when I sold it at 50 cents, you know, but I'd rather people start scaling out. Remember, I didn't sell everything. I just said I'm starting to scale out at 50 cents. I'd rather you start scaling out earlier rather than later. That's a personal thing of mine. You guys obviously don't have to do it. But when you have all those types of ideas, you know, some people go really extreme just because they want more followers and likes. Others really believe that with the technology Dogecoin's coming up with the partnership between Elon and Twitter, you know, X, that's going to create some huge tailwinds that can really push Dogecoin forward into this new altcoin season coming up. You know, there's a varying different amounts of reasons. I understand them all. For me, $1 seems reasonable. We'll see what happens after that. If Dogecoin's at like 50 cents or something and the altcoin season really hasn't even started or Bitcoin isn't even at all-time highs, yeah, then we could change things up a little bit. But the data hasn't really been like, oh, Dogecoin's going to be at 50 cents when Bitcoin hits $50,000 or $60,000. Nothing like that's been coming up. Dogecoin's at what, 8 cents and Bitcoin's at $43,000. That still isn't bringing a whole bunch of confidence. I'm more of the mindset that Dogecoin's just going to rapidly pop off and then just gain a whole bunch of momentum. However, it's still going to be a gamble on all of our parts that kind of want to see that come to fruition. So it's just, there are different ways of viewing it. I'm just taking a very conservative approach because, my only goal is to really make a good amount of money. I don't have to become a millionaire or something like that. Although it would be nice, scaling it early and then kind of managing the risk as it continues to go up higher and higher and higher is pretty much what I'm looking for. And hey, Knucklebuster, Michael here. Why did Ethereum to 4,000? Oh, yeah. So this is what I was going to talk to you guys about earlier. I was reading this article on Coinbase. I'm going to start doing some daily videos just on some of the news coming out because I enjoy it. Is this, my head's blocking it? I figured out my head might be blocking some of these news articles. So I went around and did this. I flipped my head around and then you just see the little sponsor thing on the other side. All right. So anyway, Ethereum could hit $4,000 with likely spot Ethereum ETF. Approval in May, standard chartered. Now, I don't know if we're going to actually get approved in May. I would say it might even take till the end of summer. But again, sometimes things can go a little bit faster. But the way the SEC's been going, we'll see. Anyway, let me just read a little bit of this to you guys. Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency by market value, could rise nearly 70% from the current levels to hit about $4,000 by May, as applications for spot-based exchange-traded funds (ETFs) will likely win regulatory approval in the United States. We'll talk about that in a second. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), as it did with Bitcoin, will delay decisions on spot ETF applications until eventually giving a green light on the first final deadline. This puts May 23rd as the provisional day for an approval, the date of final deadlines for applications by asset managers Van Eck and ARK 21 shares. So they're kind of pinning this on based on that type of information. I don't know if they're going to do it for the first deadline because it's not Bitcoin. Bitcoin holds a special place in the world. Ethereum, to a certain degree, does as well, but it's not the same. I'm trying really hard not to let this go down, but I keep failing because I keep on talking too long. I love this lemon sour. It's just tasty. All right, but anyway, yeah. So that's kind of one of the reasons I was thinking about this. I don't think really $4,000. I think that's like somewhat of a headline or something like that. I think it's reasonable that we get up to like $3,000 plus, though. I think it's pretty reasonable by then. Again, I usually underestimate how far it can go. But when you look at Ethereum, you go out here to the weekly chart. Let's go to log off. You zoom out a little bit. It's in a pretty good spot. It's not terrible. And all we're looking for is whatever breakout comes out off of this consolidation that we're seeing, that could really get us boosted back up. Now, the resistance levels that I'm looking at are a little bit different than the people that are talking in the article. And just like that, it poofed. Unlike the other one, though, I can relight this one because it's still pretty good. I let this sit out last night. This was not in my humidor this morning. That's exactly what happened. Okay. There we go. There are two ways to look at this. The first one, of course, is just your Fibonacci extension level. We have one from all the way back over here to here. You'll notice that we kind of hit some of these levels of resistance, and maybe that next level of resistance is kind of around $3,000. Honestly, I would go to this one right here, a little bit higher, come down to this low we experienced just a few months ago. And now you saw that kind of one mark that we were hitting. We weren't able to really close above the 0.78 right here, this level. But if we start going from here and breaking above 2780, I do think we can get back up here to 3,500. Issue with that, though, if I take this back off. That level of resistance right there is 3,580. All the way back over here from that kind of hump. It was trying to make a similar head and shoulders to what Bitcoin did, but it just ended up being a lot uglier than what Bitcoin's was. But realistically, that's kind of around 3,500. I think that would be a huge turning point, a reversal point for Ethereum. If Ethereum is already around these levels before the spot Ethereum ETF comes out, then we could easily see 4,000. But for me, that's not going to happen unless, there's a really good imminent feeling to it, like there was an imminent feeling to what was going on with Bitcoin. Everybody knew it was coming. Even the hackers knew it was it was coming. And maybe if I were to go over here to the monthly chart, you got a little bit of levels of resistance kind of like peaking here every single month. I don't think these are going to be the biggest issues, but if you pull them back up here a little bit, then you got a little bit kind of around those lower 3,000s. That might be a little bit more of an issue as well. But again, 3,000, I think you'll be happy by the time the Ethereum ETF comes along. Ethereum right now is still pumping up quite a bit. Normally we consolidate a little bit more though. You see how we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green months, 2 red months, and then we kind of keep on going on. I was kind of hoping for something of a dump. Normally when we have a nice little red dump before an upward move, that's what we all kind of like to pile into these assets. Bitcoin's trying to have one. It tried to have one early, did not. Maybe it'll happen over the next 2 months. We have a nice little drop down, then we kind of continue to chug on. But we're going to have some type of consolidation here. Back to Ethereum. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know there's going to be a lot of hustle and bustle, a lot of institutional money kind of slowly moving into it. It'll cause some chaos as always, but long term, it'll give you guys some really great opportunities to buy into Ethereum, along with maybe a Solana one or something like that coming along the pipeline too. One other thing is, for people that care, all-time high at low. Fibonacci level right here, 26 got rejected. Up here, 3,200. Up here, 3,800. After that, 4,500. There's really no 4,000. You got to really get above this to get 4,000. Rejected right here, right on time. Rejected right here, right on time. It usually takes us a while. Happening in May. May is right here on the chart. We're gonna have to freaking hustle and bustle to get up to 4,000 anytime soon. Now, my reason for $4,000 isn't really going against what they're talking about. I just don't think May is the time where this ETF comes along. I think it's much more going to be happening in September. In September, to me, $4,000 Ethereum is actually a very easy thing to do. Double the market cap in that time, or almost double the market. That's much more reasonable. So I would say 4,000 is actually kind of likely. It's just that the time frame that they're setting out in the article, that's where I'm like, I don't know about $4,000 in May. But $4,000 in 2024, to me, that's an easy thing for us to do. In fact, I'd say we might even get to $5,000 or $6,000 if Ethereum could really get some momentum behind it. Not a huge thing, but Bitcoin is trying to have a small reversal here. It's going to try to pop back above 43,000. If it can, we might see a little bit of movement because you see these moving averages here that it's just barely trying to hold above. Not the best opportunity here, but again, there's a chance we can try to hold these right now. And hey, Pablo, happy to see you back. Thanks for being a mod as always, or as of a couple days. You're never late. There's nobody ever late to a stream. We're always just chilling here, having a good time. Let's see. And hey, Alberto, do I have a favorite cigar? Oh, yeah. Well, I can pull it up for you very fast as Bitcoin's going to try to make a move. Right here. It's a Bolivar Bellicose Fino. Now, it is a Cuban, so it is kind of hard to come across in the States. I have a few friends. They're very generous to actually just let me. They don't give it to me free, but I buy them. But I'm able to get them from them. It's a Bolivar Bellicoso Fino. They're very, very good. I enjoy them quite a bit. Now, it goes on to say, perhaps the single most consistently full-bodied smoke that Cuba produces, the Bolivar Bellicoso Fino is a perennial favorite for those favoring strong Cuban smokes. It's named after Simon Bolivar, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, probably my favorite cigar right there. If you're talking about a New World cigar, I would say maybe... give me a second. A Fuente Hemingway is good. An Olivia Black Swan is fine. Record Bond is good. It's a little bit of a cheaper cigar, but I would say it's still good. It holds up really well. It has a good draw, and it holds the ash pretty well. Pen Standard is good for the price. Chocolatey. My Father Le Bijou, I stay away from those pretty much, even though I have a few. Olivia's are pretty decent. The Olivia O series is usually my favorite of them, besides the Black Swan. But if you want like a nicer cigar, Fuente Hemingway is usually really good. It's just a little bit pricier. Fuente Hemingway. Now, traditionally, if I'm getting into a Fuente Hemingway cigar, I will go the sun-grown route. But you don't have to go that way. It's fine. It's more of a medium strength. But what a box of 5 is going to cost you about $41, $38. One is probably going to cost you about $8. This is not the same Hemingway that I'm smoking or that I smoke, because the one I smoke is a little bit more expensive. Oh, that's just the shape. Okay. Let me see. Signature. Hemingway signature. There we go. Little bit larger. I think that's probably why it is. But a box of 25 will set you back around $223. Looks like on sale. I don't want a box though. I guess they only sell as boxes. But yeah, it's a pretty good. That's a really good smoke. I enjoy it a lot. I smoked. The last one I smoked was just maybe last week outside of my balcony. It's a good smoke right there. But if you're looking for something like a Cuban, Bolivar Belicoso Finos, they're really good. I'm probably gonna give one to one of my friends I met at a crypto group. I've been talking to a few lawyers recently just to kind of about what the crypto scene is like in Washington State, because I honestly have no idea, and I just kind of want to have an idea of what's going on. Because if Washington gets really crazy with crypto regulation, like I have to find a way to get around it. Does that mean I move down to Oregon? Does that mean I move somewhere else? I'm still thinking of moving to Ecuador, despite what happened with the violence. I'm kind of like, it still feels like it's calling to me. And I found out recently there are these group events where people from all across the United States meet in a certain airport, and they get a private jet for their dogs and them to go down, and that's exactly what I'm thinking about. So it's like $5,000, but I get to take Loki on a private jet with me, and a whole bunch of other people take their pets along with them without going on cargo, straight to Ecuador. So yeah. Anyway, does that move happen faster? I'm not entirely sure. So I'm trying to figure it out. And on. Let me find this out for you guys. I can't find the exact day. I think it's in my phone. But the state capitol is having a demo day for blockchain technologies and stuff like that. So I'm going to be meeting with a couple of my local representatives in government and kind of just be saying, hey, I'm in crypto influence, so I'd love to have some clarity about what I can do, what I can't do. I would love to inform you guys about what people like me do, the good side of things, not the Logan Paul side of stuff. And that way, when you're crafting regulation for Washington State, you can kind of use some of my input for what works and what I think bad actors may be using and things like that. So I'm going to be doing those introductory hellos and stuff when it comes to those, state Senate members and state House members. I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah. The lawyer that's introducing me to those people, he's getting a Cuban cigar for sure. And hey guys, not sleeping is the worst. I've been dealing with sleep issues for about a year now. It's rough. For me, it really just hurts me mentally. Because I when I'm sleepy and tired all the time, I can't hang out with Loki. I don't take Loki out on walks as much as he should. So I really try to focus and get back onto the grind really quickly. Right now, when it comes to Loki, last night I got a good night's sleep, so that's good. But I think I'm going to go back to taking melatonin and it'll just knock me out. And that knockout is just what I'm looking for, because my mind is overstimulated by looking at charts and data all day, and working on videos, stuff like that. My mind is just too stimulated, according to my doctor. So I need to figure out a way to not have it be that, or just force myself to go to sleep. And like 2 melatonin seem to be the perfect trick for just knocking me out. So I'm just gonna start using that and see how it works out. So far, it's been perfectly fine, but I don't really do it all too often unless I really have to, because eventually I'm just gonna knock myself off the melatonin. Do I have any thoughts on token metrics? I think they tried to sponsor the channel a year ago. They're fine. I think they're good. I think you can survive without them using AI and stuff nowadays. With all the plugins on ChatGPT and things like that. But if you really want to dig down into all the nitty-gritty stuff of a new token and things like that, I think it's a good resource just to have. If you're on that part of your journey where you're looking for a whole bunch of new stuff to buy, and you're excited to see what can pop off or something like that, I would say definitely good. I tend not to use it too much during bull markets. I tend not to use it so much at the end of bull markets. Right now, I think it's fine. But once you start seeing Bitcoin go crazy, nothing you're going to see there is really going to help you. It's kind of when everything is really bearish and the world looks like it's ending, during a crypto winter, where you're really digging into tokens and kind of seeing what's new, what are they working on, and just learning, a little bit more about maybe liquidity and things like that, what exchanges are on. It can be useful. I don't use it all too much, but when I do use it, it's more heavily used during crypto winters. I would use it probably now a little bit, and then really when the market's going up, you're just kind of letting your rewards kind of pile up for all the research you did, and then you kind of, just reset a little bit later. And hey, John Wick, happy to see you from Canada. Oh, and hey, Shannon, happy to see you back. If you're open to trying a herbal blend capsule, sleep blend by Botanica helps me check the I can't pronounce that. With any Western meds you might take, though, of course. What do you call I do like tea quite a bit, and I'm trying to lose weight here, so I don't even have sugar in my tea anymore. It's just hot water at a certain temperature and leaves, which is actually very good after you get used to not having sugar. I'll probably have to try some tea too. That couldn't help. I mean, that couldn't hurt. I wouldn't take it with melatonin, but I definitely have it. I would definitely try it alone though. Thoughts on Chainlink chart? Let's go over here to link. There we go. Okay, weekly charts, a whole bunch of sideways action. That's very good because everything else is actually down quite a bit over the past few weeks, as you guys might imagine, with all the crazy stuff going on. Let's see. Golden cross coming. That's nice to see. Daily chart looking at a little bit of. I mean, the daily chart's looking like a lot more ranging, to be frank with you. So probably not the best time to be buying. Every time we start getting back up to these levels, people are probably scaling out and looking for an opportunity to sell. However, the momentum is still on your side at the moment. The 4-hour charts here looking at some smaller golden crosses. The 50 death cross here is moving at a little bit too slow of a pace to really matter. It looks like the 20 and the 200 or the 20 and the 50 are looking okay. But the 50 and the 200 really aren't the best combination to be looking at this point in time. Really just getting close to a level of resistance. Be careful of the next 24 to 48 hours. It might have a little more of a pullback. Usually I'm not. Usually I just like holding Chainlink just because of what goes on in Robinhood and a lot of those other exchanges. This thing is known to have some crazy pops, and those crazy pops. Am I thinking of the right token here? No, I'm not. Never mind. Forget what I said about Robinhood. But I still think it's a good play. It's just consolidating a little bit. The longer it consolidates, the little bit more it concerns me, unless it makes a stronger move up. Just because pretty soon we are going to be looking at a death cross coming. It's not going to be the end of the world, like I said before. it might just cause a little bit of chaos that might bring it back down here to $10.69. That would be a pretty dramatic drop of like around 33% or something. So that's just what I'm concerned about right now. Short term though, Bitcoin's still trying to fight for its life to go up higher, make new highs. That's good. You don't want to see this fall back down, below the 13-12 levels. That'd be really bad for it. In fact, that's probably where you want to start buying it again. It's ranging right now. That's about as good as you can go. Hourly chart, you're seeing a little bit of weakness, just as it kind of heads up right here to this level of resistance. Really, wait for it to consolidate, wait for that next breakout. It's kind of having these nice pops, a little bit of a drop, nothing crazy. But it's something you're kind of waiting for those larger drops to buy in. You're not necessarily buying at a spike. Those spikes usually are not the best opportunities to buy in to something like this right now. Your next level of resistance kind of seems to be around $16.50. A little bit of a profit. Definitely would be holding up until that point, even because Bitcoin's trying to hold on a little bit more as well. And hey, Alberto, right now I'm just smoking a Rocky Patel Lancero. Nothing special about it. It's a nice, good, cheaper cigar. It holds its own. This one I left out last night on accident, so it's not the best smoke as far as like how it's built. But that's my fault, not the roller's fault. Definitely good smoke though. A little bit different after you rest a little bit. Maybe tomorrow or something I'll smoke a Cuban with you guys. Maybe day after. I don't want to make smoking every day a habit. Oh, it's right here. Used to watch heavily during the Doge days. Any chance we reach those levels again? Yes, but it would only be during an altcoin season if you ask me. Any news that Dogecoin gets during an altcoin season will cause it to blast off. And we've seen what's happened with Dogecoin in a bear market. But it's going to take time for the altcoin season to manifest. That seems to be the hardest thing because it doesn't look like Dogecoin wants to grind up along with the rest of the market. It's been having these smaller moves, sure. But because it fell down so much during the SNL thing, after really going so berserk, it's kind of in this weird situation. Like, let me offer you guys like a little bit of a perception thing about Dogecoin. So ADA, right? From the lows we experienced back over here in June or whatever, to the highs we got just a few weeks ago, it went up around 209%. Dogecoin, the lows, actually let's go to the lows over here to where we were just a few weeks ago. That's 118%. Now, I did have a spike back up over here at 222%, but it really hasn't had that huge, it's not chugging along as much as we would want it to. There are things out there like, I'm trying to go for similar market caps here. Here's XRP from the lows. Now, XRP had some good news. That made it go up 226%. It went up 143%. Maybe over here, maybe 161%. Something like that. Still not as good as a lot of other tokens out there, but it's humming. It's going fine. Matic, on the other hand, this one was kind of something weird because of how far it dropped. Those lows to where we are now, 245%. At the very peak, it was 396, almost 400%. From where we were just a few months ago, it's up around 121%. So a little bit different. But, what is this, October 2023? It was low September 2023. 121%. Let's go back to Dogecoin very fast. Short-term low. 88%. It's kind of underperforming the market. It's not necessarily terrible. It's just underperforming. The underperformance changes the minds of people who hold it because, if you're like anybody else, you hold Dogecoin, but you're also holding Matic, maybe some Spell token if you're really taking a gamble, Ape token, ICP, Ethereum, Bitcoin. And all of those other things are just outperforming it. And you're seeing that like, oh, yeah, it's making me money. It's not losing me money. But I'm not so excited about it right now. And I think that's the kind of general vibe you're feeling with Dogecoin at this point. Just, it's there. It's making money. But it's not making you, get that really good mood out of you just yet. THC gummies with that melatonin will knock you out too. I haven't taken gummies in a long time, but that might also do well too. And thanks, Pablo. I'll keep in mind taking it in the morning as well. Mikey, we try herbals for sleep, but also take any medications as your doctor for conflicts between them? Oh, I don't take medications. I used to take ADHD medication. It made me too dull, honestly. I've learned the hard way when it comes to ADHD. If you're not prescribed with medication while you're younger, you kind of have a personality shift, or at least with me, you have a personality shift when you're medicated as an adult, because you grew up with ADHD. Your whole mindset is around your ADHD, right? I know I can go off topic, I can go through complete tangents, and I don't mind that anymore. One of the cool things about being your own boss, doing trading or running your own business, whatever it calls, YouTube, whatever, I do what I want. It's really nice. My day-to-day life struggles are more of, doing the dishes. Once I do the dishes, putting the dishes up, it's like a whole different step process. I can put all my dishes in the dishwasher, feel really accomplished. Those dishes may sit in there for like 2 days before I take them out. And then I'm like, oh man, I don't know, are those dishes fresh, even though they came from a fresh dishwasher? Maybe I had to wash them just one more time. Let's put another soap packet in there. I'll do a quick wash on it. Then I'll be like, a few hours later, it's done. Oh, there's too much steam. I need to put it back in there. And then maybe later on that night, I'll end up taking them out. It's a whole freaking process with me. I've come just to understand it. It is more of expensive of a lifestyle, that's for sure. I don't sweep up the floors all too much as I should. So what I do is I focus more on mopping the floors with my little Swiffer thing. And I have little robot vacuums all across my house, more than one would need, just to make sure everything is fine. You take these extra steps and it works out very well. But they're called, like, who needs like 3 to 4 little robot vacuums in their house? You really don't need that many. But I do. I want them. It makes me a little bit easier. Cleaning those things out, that's where the chore comes in. So it's a little bit different. And then Nick, thanks Mike. Thoughts on BlackRock ETF IBBT $100 high this Bitcoin season? Probably might even go higher just because institutional money is going to kind of play the pump and dump. But let me check it out. IBTT? Maybe LBTT? Oh, IBIT. There you go. I knew I was messing up. My glasses broken. I haven't gotten my new ones in the mail yet, so I'm wearing my old glasses from, I think these are from college days, so a very long time. Luckily, my eyes haven't gotten much worse, so it's not like there's any problem with them, but I definitely have to, like, double check what I'm reading. All right, so $100 based on where we are now. You kind of see, this is a 4-hour chart here, of course. You're definitely seeing it dump a little bit today. What happened? It just saw Bitcoin hit a little bit of a resistance, so it gave up completely. This thing is going to be so volatile. It's going to be very interesting. They're going to be making so many fees off of this that I feel obligated to own more BlackRock just because of what I'm seeing with this. Okay. But yes, as far as BlackRock's concerned, with a $25 price right now, with Bitcoin kind of hovering around like $42,000-$43,000, yeah, I think this can easily hit $100. When institutional money starts flowing in here, it's going to get very, very volatile. So just as a little bit of an example here, it's up 13% from the lows when Bitcoin was over the past few days, or Bitcoin was also the lows. Bitcoin ran up around that same 13%, so they're pretty similar is what I'm trying to grasp at here. Bitcoin back to all-time highs. That's about 57%. 57% jump up from $25. That's still moving up quite a bit. You're gonna have to see Bitcoin kind of cross well above $100,000. Zoom out more, I think Bitcoin can easily get above $100,000. So I think it's a good price to go for there. I would start scaling out probably around $60 to $75 though. It's really how much you believe Bitcoin's going. But if Bitcoin's reaching all-time highs and we don't see the weekly charts having those, these daily charts having those death crosses, you're pretty much fine. Just keep on holding it. For me, I'm going with that cycle norm. When you have the all-time high, then you have the death cross. That's kind of a sign for me to get rid of most of the stuff I own. From a Bitcoin and Ethereum perspective, and then everything else, maybe I'll leave it alone for maybe a week or 2 weeks more, and then I start selling off of those a little bit more. But there are certain tokens that get like very, very crazy. For example, okay, that's enough of that cigar for now. It's starting to burn my fingers. It doesn't look like it's gotten to my fingers, but it did. Mostly because I messed up the cigar. Smart money test. This is an old one that I used for a tutorial, but it should do the trick for us. Let's get these oscillators out the way. Let's go over here to something like a, well, it doesn't matter what we're looking at. Here's a Matic. Let's put the log on here. Here's a Bitcoin weekly charts. And, you know, realistically, oh, these don't have moving averages, damn it. All right, moving average, simple, 20. $20 to $50, and now let me just there you go, add it on to both. We're going to be looking at weekly charts, but we're going to be using daily moving averages. The moving averages for the Matic and stuff don't really actually matter all too much, but it's better just to have them on there just so it looks a little bit similar. Okay. So Bitcoin had the crossover right here, and that exact date looked like it was, there we go. Monday the 26th, April 2021. Monday the 26th, April 21. See how much more gas that sucker had in it than Bitcoin? Dogecoin. Monday the 26th. Dogecoin still had a little bit left out of it. Not a lot, but a little bit. Arbitrum wasn't around. XRP, perhaps? Right there. A little bit left in the tank, but Bitcoin was kind of okay for it. Ethereum Classic. A lot more left in it. A lot more in the tank. I'm just trying to go through random tokens. ICP, as wild as that was. Oh no, that was too far back. Anything else here? Link, probably a good one. Had a little bit more left in it. So that extra couple weeks kind of buys you some time with a few other altcoins. That's if you're getting greedy, but I mean, honestly, if you've scaled out appropriately, your job is really to be greedy with that last 20 to 30% that you're holding. So, you know, makes sense in my eyes, but if you're not scaling out, be careful when that crossover comes along. Litecoin, Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Had maybe 1 week left. UFO token, was that around back then? No. EOS. April 2021. I had a couple weeks left kind of when Bitcoin was still making a little bit of a pop. But you see these altcoins making all-time highs, or kind of. Even though Bitcoin itself wasn't making those all-time highs, it was just kind of going more sideways. So I tend to be much more greedy at the end of the market just because I've already scaled out. I've done my job. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But honestly, if you've scaled out, you're still going to be happy because you were like dollar cost averaging all throughout all this crap time, you know. even as it was going up. And you're starting to sell kind of right here. And then sometimes you can sell way up here. It's hard, right? When it came to Dogecoin and me selling off here, I sold at 50 cents. I sold at 60 cents. 70 cents. I wanted to sell at 80 cents, but that never happened. So I might have gotten a little too greedy. But because I was buying all the way down here, like, with a market cap, what 0.0024, somewhere like right around here, my average was pretty darn good. Anywhere up here, even if we crash back over here, I'm still very happy with the prices I got. So it really depends on when you guys buy some of these assets, but typically, you get a couple weeks of extra leeway when it comes to those altcoins. I'm going to take those couple weeks this time. Maybe we don't have a little bit of a rebound after a death cross or something like that. Maybe. I'm still going to be a little bit more greedy because that first scale out, unlike normal scale outs, that first scale out was a whole whopping 50%. Then I was 60% out. Then I was 70% out. That last 30%, there's some stuff there. But I really didn't sell much of it because I was like one of the larger Dogecoin streamers. I was like, I'll just hold. And now, despite all the craziness that we've had, 0.0024, it doesn't have to be exact. That initial position is still up 3,200%. So we'll see where it goes. It almost feels like we're looking at some ugly, large cup and handle trying to play itself out right now. But yeah, I tend to give myself a little bit extra wiggle room. And scaling out gives me the opportunity to be as greedy as I want to without necessarily fearing too much for the repercussions for being greedy, because I've locked in so much of the capital. If you're not scaling out, everything just becomes much more difficult. You can go down that path. It's just something that kind of spooks me, right? I don't like to be uncertain. I don't like to be scared of what the market's like, what's ahead in the market. I think the term I used to use back in the day is I scaled out so I wouldn't have to worry about all this shit coming down the road. And when shit hits the fan, when the bear market starts, it's very dramatic. It's very sad. It's very, everybody's freaking out. Everybody's thinking, am I buying this dip? What's going on? What's happening next? And we do have different things happening each cycle. Like last time we had this like second wave because of all the money coming in from the government. Huge second wave. I don't think we're having a second wave of government money coming in, paying everybody to go, play in the crypto markets as much as I think we would all love that. Because basically what happened was that second wave gave an opportunity for a few other people to make another opportunity to make money. It was just, that second wave was also a disaster for some folks because they thought that second wave was going to take Bitcoin to like $100,000. It was only a stop, and like now we're really going all the way. And so they bought, but they never actually sold any of their crypto. So when it eventually came crashing down, they didn't make much profit overall. It was much more difficult because not every token had that second wave. Like Dogecoin, for example. Let's go to the weekly charts. Dogecoin didn't have that second wave. It just didn't break down and keep on falling down. It just didn't have the second wave. Bitcoin Cash, 2021, it didn't really have that second wave. Ethereum, right, 2021, had that drop off over here. I don't know how to describe it. And then, actually, this one wasn't as bad as other ones. I'll just say that, but not everybody was able to enjoy that second wave. Matic had a really good time. It just kept on soaring. It made another high actually after the initial crash. But then of course it had a really dramatic downward move because this was so overbought for so long. Even remembering the old Luna, that thing was too high compared to Bitcoin, so of course I had to crash back down. I just wasn't thinking that Luna was going to go down to zero and stuff like that. see. Well, yeah, exactly. Um, and thanks, John. I appreciate it. Well, that dog encapsulates ADHD so well. It really does. I'm all over the place sometimes, but you know what? I can be more measured if I have to. I think my brain self, like the response to having ADHD, was to just become much more serious of a person and kind of shut down my temptations to go do something. So as a kid, everybody always told me that I acted like an old man. And I was acting that way because I know if I was just too much myself, I'd be too out there for many people. So why not act more reserved, kind of listen before I spoke? Then, I would be okay. I could like take a couple seconds to compose myself before talking. And it worked out. Now, when I'm doing YouTube, I don't like to compose myself when I'm speaking because awkward silences are very weird when it comes to YouTube. You'll see me every now and again actually take like maybe a 4 to 5 second pause before talking. That's really because I'm trying to forget everything I'm thinking about besides YouTube at the moment, hone on something that's probably going to be a little more difficult for me to talk about, and then try to go in for it. But that doesn't happen all too much, I would say. I try to just go lean into it if I have a really good recollection of it. If not, I'll be like, I just start going. I'm visiting an area in North Carolina that has 4 Bitcoin mining warehouses. Locals are very unhappy with the noise from them. Oh, that'd be interesting. I drove by one today, definitely noticeable. What is the solution for noise and energy use? I mean, I would say they should actually just build them in bunkers and have them underground. I don't think they should be an inconvenience to the people that live close to them. I think they should be in areas out in the middle of nowhere that have access to a grid. And hey, sorry, Loki's over here. You can see his little. He sees his ears down, ready for a nice little pat on the head, a pat in the butt. But I don't know. I don't think they should really be placed in areas where they can be an inconvenience. I don't think they serve a purpose like an airport or like me. I have planes flying over all day, C-17s, because I live next to an Air Force base. Those are special. I don't necessarily think mining areas are special. I think if they're going to be loud, they need to be somewhere where they're not going to bother people. And if that's an inconvenience to the people that are making those warehouses, I mean, so be it. Let them deal with the inconvenience. I'm not going to be upset because some miner is not going to be able to mine as much Bitcoin or stuff like that. I honestly don't care about the miners. I invest in them. I'm happy that they're making me money in the long term. But again, I'm not like when it comes down to like a neighborhood of people versus a mining company. Miner company can get the F out of town. There's plenty of spots for them. It doesn't cost a lot to build up a warehouse and do all that type of stuff. If they're looking to mine seriously, they're going to have the money for an investment. But usually what'll happen is if they're Bitcoin mining facility, they can lobby Congress a little bit. They can a state Congress. They can lobby the city to get permission to go to a certain area, and they can pay top dollar for it. And the city will like the revenue at the expense of what the people may not feel is is lower quality of life effect on them. If that makes sense. But personally, I'd rather just have them be out in more rural areas. North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Missouri, Wyoming. There's plenty of land out there. Just buy up some land, have a warehouse. I know there's some guy that would love to just be working on, that type of stuff for a while. I think that's a much better situation. Maybe you can have an office kind of managing it in a city, but I don't think you necessarily need to have the mining equipment and the warehouses so close to where people are at. It doesn't serve a public good. I would say it's more of a private good for those making money. If it was a port importing stuff like I said, airport, Air Force base, when I go fishing sometimes I hear bombs going off, or I should say the mortar is going off. It takes you out of the immersion of being in a nice secluded place fishing. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, they're practicing something to protect us if there's a time of war. I get it. And I can always go further away from the military base if I really want to get those scenic places. Like there's a place next to me, maybe about a half an hour drive called Capowerson Lake. Let me see if I can find Capowerson Lake. I don't know if I can. Again, another tangent here, but Bitcoin's not doing anything crazy. Maps. Okay, good. Sorry, I was like freezing for a second. Do I have pictures? Pictures? No pictures of Lake Comparison? What? I'm going to have to add a picture here of Lake Comparison. Can I get a picture of the lake from here? No. This looks exactly like the road outside Lake Comparison. You can't see squat. Okay. You can see a little bit of a lake over there, basically. Now, this is Washington weather. Overcast, kind of gloomy, but you know what? It's still beautiful in its own way. Let me go over here to photos. You see that? That's beautiful. There's a Lake Comparison from the a hill nearby. If you want to see an eagle come out of nowhere, super fish, and just leave, it's a really cool spot. I don't really boat on the river. I don't even kayak or anything like that. Country folk for sure. But it's a very beautiful, scenic place. Right? Scenic place. Some flowers. Are there any better pictures of just the lake? Oh yeah, see, look at it. Got the eagles over here. It's some really cool stuff. It's some really cool stuff. But yeah, that's where I go. But I'm I mean, there's a lot of lakes next to me. What am I talking about? If I go back over here, did I get rid of it? Don't let me go. Yeah, well, actually, let me do this very fast. Maps. All right, so like I live over here in Spanaway, Tacoma. Lake Comparison's right here. If I want to go, there's a lake over here in Spanaway. That's a lake. This has too many houses by it. There's a golf course. There's a park where you can walk along. That's fine, but over here you got another lake, Clear Lake. This one's pretty nice. I have a friend that has his grandfather has a house, so I can go over there and just use the dock for fishing. You want a large lake? You got Alder Lake right here. This is one of those lakes where you guys like can't see the other side. Like you go over here to the Alder Dam viewpoint. The lake is so large you just can't see it. It keeps on going and going and going. It's really nice areas. You want to go even further south? There's Rife Lake. There's nothing out here, but this is too much of a drive for me to care about. Like the lake is massive. It's huge. You can go over here to these smaller lakes if you want to. Not usually my favorite. I'd rather be over here in the larger lakes. Again, all coming from the same river. Lots of lakes over here. If you just zoom in, there's a lake right there. There's a lake right there. Where's Tanwax Lake? I like to go down Tanwax. If I go down here, Tanwax Lake should be kind of around here. Is that Tanwax Lake? That's Clear Lake. Golf Lake, Silver Lake, Cranberry Lake. Where's Tanwax Lake? Or is it Tanawax Lake? Because I get my meat from all the way over here, so of course I can drive far to go fishing. Where's Tanawax Lake, though? Ohop Lake. I haven't been to Ohop Lake in a while. My fishing lines get snagged there quite a bit. Where's Lake Tanawax? If I search for it. Oh, yeah. Oh, it wasn't the color of a lake. That's why. It was colored like algae. Of course, when you zoom out, you can't. Oh, yeah, that looks like green, doesn't it? This one's a nice one. I know one of the owners of this place. It's like a place for people that have like these little trailer parks, but they live there. There's people that are visiting. And then if you keep going down this road, oh, it's not a what do you call? Can I show a picture of it? Well, let's go to the Rainbow Resort or the Lake Resort. Yeah. Well, there's a guy. Caught some type of fish. Look at that bass. Yeah, but basically a nice place. You can fish off the dock, or they have these little boats you can rent with little trolling motors. I take my sister there all the time. You know, when you want to have family bonding, fishing is a good way to go. Go on a boat. She doesn't like putting the worms on him, so I put the worms on the hooks. But it's a pretty nice time. We haven't been there in a while because we have to leave Loki at home for a little bit, and I'm thinking of taking Loki the next time. But he's gonna have his own. I bought him his own life vest because I'd feel terrible if he can swim, but why take that chance? You know, why take that chance? Somebody's tired and he's like, I want to go use the bathroom. I agree that mining areas, thanks, Mike. There are many houses right across the street from this one, and they're all around it. Yeah, it just makes no sense. They lobbied their way in there. That's basically what happened, if you ask me. Um, any tips on the stress of waiting for the price to be at the point where your limit buy actually fills? Usually, if I'm stressed out about something like that, I'll just leave my computer. Yeah, usually I'll just leave my computer and kind of forget about it. You kind of just have to train yourself to do it. It's not like it's just going to go away. Typically, when it comes to limit buy orders, because you're basically saying, I want this price, in the back of your mind, you're always like, am I getting the best price? And did I not get the best price? Or is it not going to actually hit that level? Normally what I'll do is I'll just be like, you know what? I did my technical analysis to the best of my ability. I have my limit buy, I have my stop loss, and I have my target price all kind of right there. Now it's just a waiting game. There comes a point where that limit order probably doesn't matter to you anymore because so much time has passed depending on how you guys are trading. If that occurs, I just cancel the trade. I'm like, damn, okay, I messed up on this one a little bit. Let me see where I can fix things up. Or, maybe it was a news event. Nothing I can do about a news event. I'll just take the potential L and just, move on. When it comes to the stress, though, I don't manage the stress like oh, let me figure out a way to fix it. I'm just I find a way to entertain myself otherwise. I've been more stressed out with life stuff, I would say, over the past few weeks, as I've told you guys a few times. I have a $10,000 TV, sound system, living room setup, basically. It's very, very nice. I use a portion of my Dogecoin money for it because normally I don't like to make those large purchases, but it was my way of treating myself after kind of doing everything I wanted to do properly when it came to Dogecoin. And I haven't been using it hardly at all for like the past year and a half. And so I've been finding a way to hey, let me go watch a movie in here with Loki. I'll put a blanket on the sofa. Loki can hop up. I'll grab some Chinese food from the store or something, and we just have some Chinese food. I don't know. You can go to the store, basically buy some chicken breast, chop up some chicken breast. Loki gets to eat the chicken breast raw, but because he's not getting cooked teriyaki. I'll make some homemade rice. Just put in a little small personal mixer, a little bit of teriyaki chicken and rice. It's very simple. It's healthy. And I'll just watch a couple hours of TV. And it's better than watching a few hours of charts. I'll tell you that, because the charts just, they can kill you. When it came to a limit by order, I almost had one back around Bitcoin around 37,000. We didn't even hit 37,000, let alone $36,000. So I was just like, you know what? I'll wait and see. Same thing happens when you're looking for shorts sometime. I told you guys I was going to have a short open up if we hit $44,000 because I thought we might come back down a little bit more. Well, guess what? We hit $43,882. And if I would have, if I didn't have if it went through, look how nice that short would have played out. And it was only going to go back towards here. It wasn't going to even go back down lower. The first scale out was going to be right here. The next scale was obviously going to be kind of right around here, around 42.3. But yeah, so I missed it. And I just okay, whatever. Because now if we get back up there, I don't know, that may be a whole nother revving thing that we actually breaking out, we're going high. I don't want to take that opportunity. But sometimes you just don't get it. And frankly, I was being greedy by putting it up there because of where this level of resistance was. And I think somebody even asked me specifically about opening a short at 43,500. I was like, yeah, it's a pretty decent place to open up a short. But I was just myself more greedy at 44,000, and this guy made some money. I didn't. It happens. You just kind of shrug it off and okay. Once you have it happen so many times, it just becomes but you move on. That's the most stress you're gonna get from it after a while. Is you kind of numb yourself to it because it's not like you lost money. People will say that, oh, you lost out on potential profit, but even if it hit, you're never really sure if it's gonna hit. You just kind of have the idea of okay, there's some resistance. It's gonna be a slight pullback. We'll trade. We'll trade that, but at least you didn't lose money, and that's my thing. If your portfolio stays the same, That's not a loss to me. That's good. Some people's portfolios have been going down over the past few years, despite all the good movement we've been seeing in the market. Imagine being that guy, or imagine being the hedge fund whose stock market, whose portfolio only went up like 5-10% last year when everything else was like roaring up 30, 40, 50%. Imagine being that guy. It's bad, but at least they're still making money. Now they're the people that they're managing the money, they're going to be pissed off, of course, but they're going to be happy they're not losing money throughout all this. And hey, Pablo, the Pacific Northwest is gorgeous in general. Oh yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love it. There's so much stuff going on around here. Loki loves it. Me and Loki go. Well, let me pull up that map again. Maps. Me and Loki go walking around here quite a bit. I used to take him to a dog park that was down here by Gravely Lake, Stillicum Lake. Right here, Fort Silicon Dog Park. It's a really large dog park. This is from partly in the middle of it. Oh, let me just not recognize that spot. The photo is no longer there, probably. There you go. So this is the first dog park. It's like the medium dog park here. Goes all the way around. It's a pretty large dog park, right? Then you got a mini dog park over here for the teeny Shih Tzus and whatnot. And then over there, you got the large dog park. There's the entrances right here. It just goes on and on and on. It's freaking massive. Loki likes to go there a lot, but he's not fixed. So I don't want him to get a dog pregnant. And there's a lot of angry dogs there that haven't been fixed, or not fixed, because Loki's not fixed. What is it? Like, when a lot of people got dogs during COVID, they didn't socialize them properly. So now that they're taking them out more because COVID restrictions are lifted, they don't get along well with a lot of other dogs, especially if there's large groups of dogs that get nervous and they lash out. So I stopped taking Loki there because he's gotten in a couple of fights. He never gets injured during fights because Loki, come here. Let me see if I can show you. Loki, come here. Loki, up. He's trying to grab a toy to come up very fast. Loki. He's taking the longest way possible to get to me. Loki. He's not on a ball or something. Up. Can I have that ball? No, it's a light up ball. That's not even your ball. That's the cat's ball. Come here. Up. Up. Up, 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 up. Okay, now he chews on a lot of stuff outside, like sticks and stuff. This guy sharpens his teeth to be not like bad, but like they're sharp. So when he gets into a fight, he he knows how to defend himself. He knows exactly what to bite. He was trained by one of my friends who works with canine police dogs. Now he's not like canine trained. Don't get me wrong. He's not going to listen to all those types of commands, but basically, when he gets into a fight, he knows exactly where to bite. I think it's some of its instinct and stuff like that. And he'll tear off, skin, fur, everything. And he's pretty darn good at it. And I like it when he wins, frankly, because I want him to be the little alpha dog he is, because he's really a guard dog at heart, and he likes to herd stuff. So because his parents all herding lions and things like that. But I obviously I'm not going to put him in a position where he has to fight constantly or normal. I don't want him to be in that position, so we just don't go there anymore. So now we go on more walks, and we go out here to Owen Beach. I call it Owens Beach, but I think the technical name is Owen Beach. I don't know why. I don't know why I've always done that. But basically, there's this beach right here. You can walk all the way along the edge. It's very popular in the summer. It's not too crazy in the winter. But then there's like this long walkway all the way to the ferry docks, and we'll take that road and we'll go all the way down there. It's a really nice walk, all the way and back. And they just rebuilt this whole section, so none of these car spots, like, it's all different now. If I move over here, will they change it? Trying to see if they. It's a pretty horrible parking situation, but they've revamped everything. I just think it's been a while since they've had to do so. Like, yeah, now you see this pavilion area. That was all a lot of parking spots. Now there's no parking spots over there. But yeah, it's a great area. That's why I take Loki normally. He'll say hi to dogs. Dogs don't usually bark at him or something. If he growls at anything, it's because there's a deer in the woods. But he wants to jump in and swim with the seals for heaven's sake. So I don't like him to do that because I don't know, maybe the seal won't like him or something. But there's seals all the time, so he looks at that. But you know, walking down these roads, like here's the viewpoint. You know, lots of cool stuff out there. You know, somebody's looking at it from maybe a helicopter or a drone. Yeah, you can go walking through all that stuff in there. It's a really chill spot. And the roads, they've closed down the roads back there, so now there's no cars that go back there. Pretty darn nice. Well, because Loki is a tough but super cute pup. Yeah, I mean, like he's drawn blood plenty of times. It's just, you know, after a while you realize that a lot of the dogs that go there just aren't too good. If I take him there, I take him on a rainy day because I know he doesn't care about the rain. I can have a couple towels in the car, and and he'll be swimming in the mud and having a good time. But there's not many dogs, and he knows a few dogs there, right? He knows a few people. I've become friends with a few people, but you know, why put your dog in that position if you know there's probably going to be a fight on a really busy day? Just, you know, you can find somewhere else to go. That's how I feel about Loki, because I know that, you know, if somebody from some other dog tries to attack him, there's a lot of those people where their dog will attack your dog first, like, control your dog, and I'm like, I'm not afraid of just lashing back. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Your dog attacked my dog. Why can't you control yours? What did you, like, I will hit them hard. How did you raise this dog so it didn't know how to behave at a dog park? You need to socialize properly before you even come out here. Otherwise, people are going to judge you like they are right now. You know, I will dig in there and try to, like, knife and twist when it comes to, like, them trying to say that Loki's a bad dog. Me, I don't care if they say anything really bad about me, because I'm a YouTuber, for heaven's sakes. People may say bad things about me all the time, right? But when it comes to Loki, no. You can't talk about my dog that way. What's my top 5 in my Roth IRA? Well, we're gonna go outside. Sorry, Loki he needs to use the bathroom here. I'll answer a couple questions and we'll head out. Right now it's Nvidia. We're looking at AMD. At this point in time, there's no more oil because I sold a lot of oil out of my Roth IRA. Regular accounts are still full of PXD, but what else is there right now? The Vanguard Finance ETF. That one I'm holding heavily right now. I loaded up on it a lot over the past, I want to say year, and I'm hoping that long term it'll do me good, but it's more of a long term. The prices will go up, but until then the dividends are really what I'm just juicing up right now. What is the Vanguard? Let me find it, because they have a few ETFs here. Here, yeah, the Vanguard's Financial Index Fund ETF. Is that the one right there? I'll have to get back about that one. I'm not entirely sure. And then after that, we got 2 other ones. What are they? It's not Tesla. Microsoft is number 6. I don't remember what the other ones are. Google's number 8. Those are a few of you. For 4 and 5, 4 is not technology based. I think 5 is Boeing. Because I added a lot more after the drop we just had over the past few weeks. I loaded up on that with my long-term account. I'm kind of hoping they bring back dividends, which is one of the reasons I've been loading up on it. But every time Boeing gets slashed, it'll come back up. There's no issues with that because of how long the orders are. What's the other one? It's not something that's popular, I'll tell you that now. I mean, it could be popular, but it's is it Berkshire Hathaway? No, that's much lower on the list. I'm not entirely sure number 4 is, but I'll try to find and get back to you. I don't check my long-term portfolio, but like maybe once a quarter, and then I kind of adjust stuff as needed. And I just checked it, I think, in November, so it's been a hot minute. I love too being out in nature. My environmentalism is at odds with my interest in crypto. Years ago, I heard about green coins that address the energy use concerns. Are these still out there? They could be a little bit, but they're not going to get access to government money, which means they're hard to grow in a very rapid rate. You know, think of when we had the solar panel expansion, how much government dollars went into that. And now, like in Washington State, they took away the tax incentive. So nobody gets solar panels that much anymore, hardly anybody, because it's just so expensive. They're probably still out there. You could probably look for them. I don't know many of them myself or any of them myself. But it might be worth investing in one or two. It can't hurt, you know, especially because I invest in stuff from an ethical standpoint all the time. But you have definitely more stocks and stuff, though. My German Shepherd used to guard factories in Mexico. She got stabbed and began living here shortly after. She's super sweet, but will tear your throat out. I don't put her in bad situations. Yeah, it's just, yeah, exactly. I'm sorry she got stabbed, though. That sucks. One of Loki's favorite dogs playing when he was younger was actually a German Shepherd from Mexico. That dog was a beast. Like, it was 110 pounds, like at like 9 months. It was a massive dog. Really crazy. It was like a King German Shepherd or something like that. But yeah. Just be a responsible dog owner. You know, I know my dog can handle himself in a situation, but you know, why put him in a bad situation? Like Loki knows how to play with puppies. If he's playing too rough with a dog and that dog submits, Loki's trained to sit down and basically wait for the dog to get back up. You know, different things that can help out in a situation. I've taught him how to do that type of stuff. But you know, he knows how to do that, but he still doesn't know how to shake, or he doesn't know how to speak. But you know, it's your general stuff like that. My IRA is Neo and Mara. I need ideas. I mean, really, big tech is going to be there for a while. I invest in some smaller cap ones for sure, like the ones I've made videos about. But typically for them, it's not, you know, it's a small amount of money. I hope to turn into a large amount of money by holding for decades. Boeing, I would say, is a higher risk because they just seem to keep on having problems. But when I look at Boeing, you know, they've had catastrophes before, you know, over time. They've kind of had these long laggy periods. I feel like we're in one of these periods. But over time, they seem to be doing just fine. And they're a good company. America can't let them go bankrupt because America needs to have planes. So the government has an incentive to not let them fall apart, basically. Now, they have not had the COVID roar, but I've been taking this opportunity to buy up quite a bit. Some other things, I guess I would say I buy a little bit of every now and again. I have a little bit of Intel, even though it hasn't been performing well. I wouldn't say that it's a great play, but Home Depot is something I've enjoyed for a long time in my portfolio account, just because, as you know, as we're building up so many houses, these houses need materials, and as we people live in these older houses, and you know, as rich people go into the nicer houses, everybody needs to kind of revamp their houses basically, or refurbish them, whatever you want to say. Go to you know, Home Depot is another solid play. Oh, it's Visa. Of course yeah. Okay, it's Visa. Visa's in here somewhere. Yeah, at the very bottom right here. Yeah, Visa. Can't believe I forgot Visa. I've been loading up on this thing since I was in college. But yeah, it's Visa. Yeah. I don't know why I just thought of that now. Oh, I think I saw MasterCard here. MasterCard's in the list. Like, MasterCard's good, but it's not Visa. To me, Visa is Visa. Visa, one of my favorites. That's it. Some guy told me to load up on this in like 2013. I was doing, no, 2014. I was doing Uber in college, and I picked up this guy. He worked for a hedge fund. I was like, hey man, do you know anything I should just hold on for my whole life and then sell it when I need money in retirement? And he's like, Visa. They take a cut out of every payment that goes across America. Buy Visa, you won't regret it. And so from then on out, I was just pouring a little bit of money into Visa, and this is back in 2014. So again, 2014, right here, 2015, woo! My first buy-in was kind of about $50 or $55. Now it's up around $277. Visa's good. Yeah, Visa's definitely one of them. You can go down the MasterCard route as well. MasterCard is great. It's really good. I don't recommend going into like the Amex and stuff like that, like American Express. Do they even you know, it has like these different periods of time. It's not like a nice little woo. But even if you look at 2000 from 2014, it still goes up. Logie, what are you doing? Oh, okay. He was like panting really loud air-wise, but it's because he's trying to find the squeaky part of a toy. So he's like trying aggressively to bite into a toy. Oh my god, yeah, okay. There's a squeaky part of this toy somewhere. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so he's trying to find that squeaky part of the toy. But yeah, Visa, 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 Visa. I love myself some Visa. Companies I avoid that I used to have in my account, Macy's is a good one. I never will own Macy's again. I don't care. It's not my cup of tea. It's been doing a whole lot of nothing for a long time now. It has these kind of crazy surges that occur after catastrophic events, but it hasn't really performed very well. Meta's pretty high up there. Facebook isn't going anywhere. I think eventually, the reason I'm invested in some of these social media companies, I do think China will eventually be opened up and unlocked, and social media will flock in there, and Google will do well, all that type of stuff will do well. I don't own streaming services at all. Disney, Netflix, Hulu, whatever, Roku, I just don't own them. I don't think they're good for a long-term portfolio. I think they're great for trading, but I don't think they're meant for a long-term portfolio personally. But they're there, I guess. Like people, if you bought them low when they were like growing, sure. But I think eventually these things are just going to turn into another Comcast because they can't stop raising their prices. You go over here and look at Comcast. There's a bit of stagnation that hits all these eventually, and they go through these long, if we didn't have the internet kind of really gear up in 2011, where like everything started to really change the way the world worked, I don't think you would see Comcast have these ones. These long, boring times, it's just not for me. So I don't like old world cable streaming platforms and stuff like that. Oracle is something I've been looking at buying more of, but it kind of has these fluctuations. It's been going up over time, but usually it'll give you some good opportunities. And this was the COVID crash, but even before there, this will have some really nice pullbacks. You buy on those pullbacks, you won't be disappointed. This was back over here in 2022 during the inflation scare. When you see a big move like that, that's when I hop into this one. Anything else out there? Amazon, something I hold in my long-term account. Mostly because they make money with shipping and stuff, but they're getting into tech, which I appreciate as well. For now, though, you see how it's not making new highs like a lot of other stuff. It's trying, but it's just not. Inverse, head and shoulders, shoulder, breakout. It should be moving up closer to those highs. But, it's not something I'm necessarily crazy excited about. Disney, for whatever reason, they're breaking out. I told you guys I bought some of this, but it's for a trade. It was at support level. How could I not? Disney is putting too much politics before money. Some companies can do that. I don't care if they necessarily do that, but I'm not going to buy them if they're, if their main priority is not money. It's not worth my time, my money, because I'm putting my money to work. I don't want to lose my money. Imagine buying Disney all the way up here at $179, and then the streaming services didn't really take off. They got into a fight with Ron DeSantis for whatever. Like, why? Just don't hop in there. And to me, it's not so much of an ethical or moral thing. It's like, put the business first. Business first. The only time I'll invest in companies that I think are going to be doing more political stuff is probably a green company. Somebody like what's that company? I bought some shares. I know what's it called? Let me see if I can find this right here. There's two of them. The one you guys probably don't know is this is Equinar. See how it's on a whole bunch of hot nothing? But it's a green company. They're trying to do carbon capture stuff, right? The other one that's doing carbon capture, amongst other things, is Oxy. And they're also not doing particularly great when you think about like the exons and the other type of stuff, making like new highs and things like that. But at least, things like Oxy, they were making new highs. They're pretty close to their highs. They had a pretty drastic drop during COVID, don't get me wrong. But, that long-term growth has kind of been like, But, there's a lot of other oil stocks there. Things like PXD, making new highs. I'm happy, but it's still kind of close to those highs. It's had volatility, but oil usually will have volatility with those stocks. But that one's fine. That one's from Norway, though. So, Oxy's the other one. And then Exxon is one, but Exxon says it, but I feel like they don't really mean it. Oxy, I already have it for different reasons, not for green reasons. But if you want to support something, that Equinor, I hate pronouncing the name because I suck at my R's, but Equinor seems to be a decent one right there. And they have a dividend. If they didn't have the dividend, I probably wouldn't be investing in them, honestly. But that dividend, plus having a good feeling in my heart that I'm investing in something, we'll see. Do I even have the... This is the one. Because they got a stake in this. Equinor acquires stake in U.S. carbon capture and storage project. I'm hoping they get money from the government to try to fix it up. If we can capture carbon and use it for some way that's profitable, by all means, I hope to make some money off of it. What are the chances? I would toss a coin at this point, right? Coinbase stock and Robinhood stock. As far as those are concerned, they're both okay. I think they're both going to do okay in the long term. I think Coinbase has much more room for upside than Robinhood. I will still say to this day, I believe Robinhood needs a new CEO before I really get excited about it. Now, I've dollar cost averaged a lot. My average is like $8 with Robinhood right now. Up to $11 basically. It's up a little bit. But my reason for buying into this here, look at that false breakdown we had. I guess that was a Bitcoin. Yeah, it was a Bitcoin event. My thing with them is, it's really, I don't like their CEO. He doesn't really seem to have a good idea of how to grow the company going further. It's kind of been moving on to what Bitcoin is doing, and I don't really necessarily like that. The reputation has been so tainted because of what happened with a few years ago with the AMC debacle. People just don't trust Robinhood. It's more of a place where a new investor that doesn't know much about trading, they kind of go to kind of learn the basics. And at this point, I'm seeing a lot more people that are interested in getting into crypto for the first time and not stocks, for the first time. And that really takes them away from Robinhood. That puts them more into the crypto.com basket of people. That's where I think you're going to see a lot more growth. But, crypto.com, of course, a little bit different than Robinhood. They just haven't been able to get the users up. When people get in there, because they're not as experienced, they make some money or they lose their entire portfolio and then they just leave and they never come back, so they can't make money off of them with the order flow data. And typically, I think you see a lot of influencers out there like me or just people in general. When they say, hey, Michael, I have $10,000 and I want to invest in stocks for the first time, I don't tell them to go to Robinhood. I feel smug saying like that. But, I tell them, check out Fidelity, TD Ameritrade, now owned by Schwab. Go check out, E-Trade. Go check out some of those. Open up an account and test it out. See which one kind of fits your vibe a little bit better. And then from there, you're going to start allocating funds there, but you might just want to start off with a couple $100 to see how you like trading, maybe a few $1,000 after that. Then you can move your whole portfolio over there if you want to. But my first thing is not Robinhood. I used to be very anti-Robinhood. Now I'm less so anti, but it doesn't mean it's like better than a lot of other stuff out there. It's just not my cup of tea as far as a product. They're they've tried to do a lot of stuff, but their CEO doesn't really understand how to grow from here. And this is where you've hit this period of stagnation, which will eventually break out of, not because they're doing a good job, because Bitcoin's going to reach all-time highs. That's why. And those user numbers and things like that are just not good stuff. Like Coinbase, yeah, they have a lot of connections. They'll do perfectly fine. Long term, they'll do wonder because they're working with a lot of hedge funds and big financial institutions. But you go over here to Hood. Got some downgrades in here. That's never fun. Find anybody loading up into their, buying up Robinhood stock? No. Oh man, they're just selling it and selling it. So even as I was buying, I was like, dude, I'm just buying up everything that the executives are selling off. I don't feel like I'm, they're in it with me. I mean, just look at that. And if you go over to Coinbase, you'll see, it's kind of the same thing here. But at least they have earnings to kind of back it up. They're doing okay. I feel like they're seeing good enough growth, and their growth is really tied to crypto. And I think crypto has so much of a higher ceiling than stocks do. I don't see Robinhood becoming a big thing in Asia or something like that. I can see Coinbase becoming that, but I don't see Robinhood doing that. And you can see how Coinbase has had this nice growth since June of last year. Look at that, from $46 all the way up to 185. Sure, it's come down all the way to 130. I understand that's a volatile thing, but people have the idea like, oh, it's doing okay. And when it comes to Coinbase, honestly, look at this. It's not even profitable. So they're doing so much investments. Eventually they're going to become profitable. It's going to soar past $200. It's going to be going to the freaking moon. Love it. Robinhood, they can't get their act together. And let me even go, try to go over here very fast. Let's go back to Bitcoin very fast. Maybe the 15-minute chart, just kind of see what's going on here. We're trying to do a little bit of a consolidation move. We can take this off though. Can I find a plugin? All right. I basically asked why was the Robinhood earnings call so bad. Use the plugin for help, and basically, it's typing it out for me right now. Well, it didn't give me much in. I need to go to a link and here. See if it'll give it to me. It's like saying it's not giving me any information because I think I told it like what was negative. It's like there was nothing negative in the earnings report, so now I'm just gonna like try to go like, hey, explain what the explain what the last Robinhood earnings report was about. Was there good or bad data? So it's using the app right now. Let me see if maybe this portfolio thing just isn't working. There you go. I hate how it's become so dulled down. So it's giving me the answer right now, though. There we go. So there was a sequential decline in revenues to 31 million in quarter three. This decrease was attributed to seasonally lower proxy revenues, which were partially offset by growth in gold subscriptions and short media advertising revenue. Account growth and net deposits. In October, Robinhood added 30,000 funded accounts, and customers contributed to an additional 1 billion in net deposits. Trading volume. Trading volumes in October showed an increase from September. Options and crypto trading were roughly in line with Q3 monthly averages, while equities trading was about 10% below. Seasonal trends. It was noted that trading volumes often lower in November and December due to the holiday season. Expenses and efficiency. Robinhood has made significant progress in investing for long-term growth while driving efficiently. The adjusted operating expenses (OPEX) included stock-based compensation and regulatory accrual were $353 million in quarter three, which was below their prior outlook range. That's actually pretty good news. They're not spending as much money here. But basically, decline in revenue. New accounts, apparently that wasn't enough. And trading volume showed an increase from September. That's good. Well, I guess, October, of course, some Bitcoin started taking off. So, again, it is Bitcoin. And, trading was lower in November and December due to the holiday season, which is kind of crazy because Bitcoin for the holidays, October, November, December, they were kind of all pumping it up and going good. But apparently not for Robinhood. So I don't know. It is what it is right now. I would still own it, and I do own it. But I'm owning it because I think they'll figure out something in the long term. But that's going to be after they kind of kick out their CEO, basically. I don't really have a lot of confidence in Vlad. But I have hope for the company itself. Check out the stock CRKN. Crown Electronics. This looks like a squeeze candidate. High risk. You're not gonna. This is like, whatever you invest in this is basically like going to the casino and putting in slots. Not even like blackjack. Hoping for 21. Not even like roulette, hoping for black or red. It's like going into slots. It's a very, very high risk thing. You could see they had a split a while ago. That split caused no squeeze afterwards. It just kept on coming down more and more and more. What I would probably have to do here is, honestly, let me get rid of everything else above. Let's go back over here to FinViz. CRKN. Oh, it's down 10% today on top of it. It's a $1 million market, $1.61 million market cap, $22 million lost last year. Only a small short float, so there's really not much going in here. Everything is really, really bad here. Crown Electric's issues letter to shareholders. That was January 11th, so that was a couple weeks ago. Okay. So a leading smart glass company with an expert in constructing fiber optic networks today released the following letter to its shareholders. Dear fellow shareholders, this letter is an update to our shareholders regarding Crown operational updates in both electrokinetic film and fiber construction divisions. Within the electrokinetic film division, we have reached a major milestone. In conjunction with our tooling vendor, we have created the largest and highest quality master in the company's history. The mastering process is a critical step that creates the embossed microfluid design within our film to hold our nanoparticle ink. The creation of master for our product in line is the last major hurdle to Crown to finalize prior to production for our Generation 1.0 smart window insert. Each week we have seen improvements in design process that has allowed Crown and our vendor to produce an embossing, I can't pronounce that word, I'm sorry guys, master that measures 7 inches by 9 inches in size. Crown can produce negative pattern stamps for the master. So they're trying to come up with a new technology here. It looks like they're investing a lot of money. It almost kind of feels like a biotech play the way they're kind of talking about it. Within the next month or so, Crown will have an investor call in which we will provide another shareholder update and hope to be in a position to provide revenue guidance for the fiber business. There's another business. Okay, we provide details for a call and press release approximately a week before the investor calls is to occur. Sincerely, Doug Croxwell, Chairman and CEO. We make your glass smarter. Okay, what is a smart window? Yes, I want to see this. Cut carbon emissions. Energy efficient paper thin film. What does it do? So it just darkens the glass when you get light coming into it, and it takes technology to. $45 billion worth problem of solving. Ugh, 45 billion. That's not a lot anymore. Okay, unlike other smart glass, dynamic tint requires very low energy usage to power the tinting and can be configured to use solar power or battery. Clear to dark in just 3 to 5 seconds. Energy efficient. So reduce your air conditioning. Okay. But it said something in the beginning that would confuse me a little. Retrofit. Touch button control. You don't want to be touch buttoning those. You just want them to automatically go, right? I don't know. Maybe it automatically goes and the touch button is if you want to switch it for whatever reason. It's a high risk play. They got no job openings. That's not the best sign as well. It's a very risky thing to be buying into. Look at this monthly chart. It's had a few bottoms before and it just hasn't panned out. You could toss $50 into it. You're probably gonna lose that $50. And the shares are probably gonna be diluted more and more over time until they get this figured out. If they have loans, it's very expensive to have loans in this high interest rate environment. So, it's kind of just a very risky play. I'd be very careful if you want to put any money into this whatsoever. It just doesn't seem to be doing anything right. You could trade this, I guess, every now and again for a nice little pop. But even then, it's kind of just a high risk play right there. And as far as Riot's concerned, last time we talked about Riot, I guess it was like, hey, wait for the breakout, and the breakout came. We haven't talked about this in months. Hitting a little bit of a double top right now. That seems to be fine. You really just don't want to see it break down below the 864 level. Had a few breakdowns. That's not the worst thing ever. Looking at maybe a death cross coming over here. If Bitcoin breaks down, you're probably going to see this come back down below $9, so just be aware of that. Looking more in the long term, though, when Bitcoin makes its move, you're going to see pretty much the same thing happen here. It's going to be making a higher high. It's probably going to go up to like maybe $100 or something during this cycle. Probably higher, I guess, if Bitcoin goes higher. But yeah, as far as the short-term move right now, it actually looks pretty muddy. Really, really muddy. This order block is here. You can see how we bounced off of that. But we're still in this nasty downtrend, so we might actually take it back down here to maybe like $9, maybe even $8.70 or so. get ready for just a lot of death crosses to be coming over, because we had a golden cross here and not really much came off of it. Now all of a sudden you're looking at much more bearish activity in its future. Hopefully Bitcoin can kind of rally from here and kind of go towards like 45,000, 46,000. That's what it'll take to not break down below this like $9, $10 level, and then from there try to move back up to maybe $14 to $15. Probably you might even see it go up to 16, 17 if Bitcoin can go above $50,000 sometime over the next few weeks. But this isn't so much about technicals as it is about Bitcoin just making some higher highs here. That'll get this thing juicing back up again. Earnings reports really don't do much for this here, but, you know, don't really do much for this here. Don't really do much, because everything is revolved around Bitcoin. Everybody knows if Bitcoin's up, they make more money. If Bitcoin's down, they make less money. It's as simple as that, as far as being a miner, right? It does a little bit gappy, yeah. But, you know, I mean, here's a monthly chart for it. You know, it was doing a whole bunch of other stuff before crypto came in here. It kind of adjusted, and that's been the lifeblood for them since. So, which is kind of good. But yeah. All right, everybody. I'm gonna call it a day. Anyways, Nick, $100, right? It's possible. It's possible. You're probably not gonna see too much dilution, I would say, unless like Bitcoin goes into like another bull market, crypto winter from here. But I doubt we're heading there, from Bitcoin right now. All right, I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna go take Loki out to use the bathroom. He's been giving me these little eyeballs. Even now, he's like, "Hey, we're gonna go outside." Yeah. Like, here, watch. Look up. I don't even have to say it out. You know what? I just have to ask him a question. Loki, come here. Up. Come here. Up. He's so excited. He wants to get a toy. Up. Up. He's trying to find a toy. He won't come up without a toy. Loki, where are you? Where's Loki at? Drop the toy. Where's Loki at? Wait. Can I hold your hands, please? Do you? Oh. Do you want to go outside? You can see him kind of run that way. Yeah. Okay. I'll see you guys a little bit later. It was nice talking with you guys for a cool 2 hours. I don't know how long I was talking today, but quite a bit of time. Yeah, 2 hours. A little bit over 2 hours. Yeah. So